And we are live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Writer's Workshop. It's a writing book club where we try to get better at being writers. my, my name is Tamara Woods. This is my channel where I talk about books and writing, and I write cozy mysteries. And Amber, would you like to introduce yourself to the folks?
I am Amber Craft. I write paranormal romance, and this book was shorter than I thought it was. Um,
It really was.
it really was, dude. I am at the end of the year going to take every book that we've had over the last 4 seasons and turn it into my own little best-selling book checklist, and hopefully this will be part of it.
I really liked it. This is the book we read. Newsletter Ninja. If you give a reader a cookie, supercharge your author mailing list with the perfect reader magnet by Tamula Brake. And we covered Newsletter Ninja 1 about writing the newsletter. The season 2?
No,
I
it was
feel
the
like,
first one we did, season one.
oh crap.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to make it like the first one, season five.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And we absolutely loved loved that book. We recommended it. I think hands down everybody who was on the panel loved it
Hmm.
and found it very helpful. And as Tammy was talking about in this book, she was going through a whole lot, and because I had pre-ordered it and it ended up being delayed, what, 3 times? So she was
Yeah.
so it took a while before we got this follow up. But I'm glad that she did it because it's been really helpful to figure out, like, how can I improve what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
Because I have a newsletter, and I have a newsletter for Tamara Woods, and I have a newsletter for Bliss Winters, and you can sign up for my cozy mystery newsletter in the description if you want to see what I'm talking about.
I'm
And
not smart enough to create one, apparently. All I know how to do is sign up. Past that, I need help.
do you need help figuring out how to create it?
Yeah, yeah. That's what I need. Like, as much as Newsletter Ninja has helped me, I need a book that somebody can like update as like Mailchimp changes and walk me through this step by step. Because apparently, I'm too dumb to figure it out. Like, I have a template, but I don't know how to do any of this automation stuff she's talking about and all that. So I'm just like, I'll figure it out later. Let me write the cookie that's got to go into it. That's
Um, I I was able to use the first book as kind of a step by step thing, but to explain it, I would have to have the book open and look at it step by step.
yeah.
I know that there's automation for to sign up for my cozy mystery newsletter. I do not remember what it says or how I did it.
Right. Like I used her first book to like, okay, this is the first thing I need to do, and this is the second, this is the third, because I remember she said you had to go backwards, and so I reread it. I didn't reread it. I let that be the last book before this one that I retook my notes on because I had lost like 6 or 7 books worth of notes, and I was like, well, we're fixing to do Newsletter Ninja 2, so I'll use that for my last one. And it's really weird because if you do that, as much as I liked this book, she repeats herself a lot from the first book.
Yeah,
Like I probably wouldn't have realized that if I literally hadn't just read the first one.
yeah, because I haven't read the first book since probably season 2 when I actually applied it. So you get to have a whole year of thinking about, okay, I should really do this. I should do this. Okay, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Uh, let's say some highs. Hi, cool gamer. Hello, Jordan.
We know
Mm,
you. Why do
how
you
are you
always
doing?
do
I know you always think we don't remember you, but we do. Yeah. See, Sky is part of our panel as well, but she hasn't read this book, so she decided to stay in the comments. And she hated Mailchimp. I now have experience with 3 different ones. Um, Mailchimp is not as user friendly as other ones are. Um, I use for Bliss. I have like two separate newsletter platforms that I'm still trying to figure out which one I like the best. One of them is called Review, and it's actually like in cooperation with Twitter. So, and it's like specifically made for writers, and it's kind of a click and drag and drop type of thing. And then the other one I've been using is Convert Inc. And it's that one is free, I think, up to having 1,000 subscribers to your newsletter. And it's interesting because if you do like some of the things that she's talking about, like having the reader magnet and then doing like newsletter swaps, you'll reach 1,000 a lot quicker than you expect.
Oh, really?
Hmm. So, but it's like I think Mailchimp is 2,000, but I think it's more expensive monthly.
Hmm.
If
See, I mean,
I'm
at
not,
the time when I started, back when me and you first started before this was AuthorTube, MailChimp was really the only thing around. It was the only thing that
yeah,
people could do. And I had signed up for it then. And so, like, because she was talking about, how to do it, I was like, well, I still probably have my account. And so I pulled it up and I did. That's the only reason I'm still doing it. But, like, she talked about something called Story Origin for, like, getting your cookie out. And so I'm gonna look into that this weekend. I was talking to Charlie about it, but I don't know if it's just for getting the cookie out or like um what mailing list it may work better with than others. So
so Story Origin, uh, let me
because
pull it
it's
up for
basically
y'all.
like book funnel, right?
It's I have found it to be a bit more. It has a lot going for it. I feel like it might have more going for it than Book Funnel does, because he's like constantly updating it,
Mm-hmm.
and there's always something new happening with it. But I like Book Funnel too. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but
So
I
yeah,
found
a lot of
Story
things to
Origin. Um, I use Story Origin more for um, for my Bliss things because I've found that Book Funnel, it's harder to do swaps for the spicy.
mm,
Oh, so book one was about basically how to write the newsletter and how to set it up and what are best practices for that. And book two is about the newsletter magnet or a
mm,
cookie, as she calls it. And the cookie is something to entice your reader to want to sign up for your newsletter. So that could be a deleted chapter, it could be character profiles, um, like a generational tree. Um, and she gives a lot of ideas and suggestions that were really cool. So let me
mm.
present to you.
You know what's funny is I've been reading my favorite, our author, Christine Feehan. I
Uh,
never realized that I'm reading Dark Whisper because it just came out, so I've got to. But I never realized that the family tree of all the Carpathians that she puts in the front of the book, that's technically a cookie.
oh,
I
is
never
it?
thought about that. That's technically a cookie. She just puts it in the front of the books versus in newsletters or anything.
Oh, that's really interesting.
When she started talking about family trees and stuff like that, that's technically a cookie then.
That's cool.
Because you think
So,
about it, you only have it if you read her books.
hmm, that's really interesting. Can you? Yeah, it's showing you the next page. Remember when uh, this app would just be like, here's a page and you can't go to anywhere else. But all right. So with Story Origin, you could do a campaign planner where you keep track of like the promotions that you do. So a newsletter swap would just be between you and one other person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then group promotions are essentially like when you'll see, oh, here's 20 freebies. That's like group promotion. Or here's 13 books that are all from Kindle Unlimited that have this like same theme or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you can create them or you can join them. Um, you have here, so you have where you can have your reader magnets, your universal book links, which are basically the link for your book. And like, let's say, I don't know, you have a book called Guava Jelly. I literally have a jar of guava jelly on my shelf. Anyway, you have a book called Guava Jelly, and that is available on Barnes and Noble, and it's available on Amazon and uh, Google Play. I don't know. So your universal book link would have, it's one spot where there's a place to go to each of these places where it's available.
Okay.
So it's like, yeah. So you can create them through Story Origin, but there's other places you could do that as well. But it's kind of convenient to like do your stuff here if it's there also. You can have review copies. So you can give it, so like ARC copies, or beta reader copies. And I did a beta read through Bailed Out 2 using Story Origin. So that was pretty interesting. And I think it went pretty well. Direct downloads, audio review codes. I haven't worked with that yet. And universal audio links, I also haven't worked with that. And author profile integrations, so you can connect your newsletter to Story Origin, so you can like keep track of how many clicks you got on certain stuff and all that jazz, and the subscriber account for your newsletter. And then you can have your posted mailing links list, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so it's pretty robust. I like it.
Well, I mean, like, I'm trying to get everything in place for next year, and I'm using all these books and, like, every link that I wrote down in each book we've done. And that was one I hadn't heard of before Newsletter Ninja. And she mentioned it in book 1 a little bit, but not a lot, not as much as she did in book 2. But if it's got all of that, then why wouldn't you have kind of a central hub of everywhere you could versus this for this and that for that, and let's hope it all goes together,
I really like Story Origin for doing the exchanges for the spicy stuff. I've found that with the other one, the book funnel, that I don't know, it just seems like there's more cozy mystery authors on there. And that could just be like my experience, and maybe I'm just, not seeing what is there. Because but that's what I've noticed. So I've been kind of using one for one and one for the other one.
Yeah, and you never know, it could change as it gets more traction.
Yeah, the Story Origin, it's kind of been growing in popularity. The one problem I find with it is that I have to have a separate author account for each pen name.
Right.
So that sucks. And you have to pay full price for each pen name. So that's why I was like, all right, Story Origin. I'm going to use it, but I'm only using you for the one thing.
Well, that's good to know, because, yeah, when I start the second series, I might have a pen name. I've been thinking about it, so.
Let's see. So Sky switched to SendFox because it was free and easy to use. Does it stay free?
That's the question.
Privy isn't free, but also simpler to use than MailChimp. Yeah, MailChimp is like, it's still as complicated as it was in the beginning, I feel like.
It looks user-friendly, but it's not. Like, I don't really feel like it is.
And yeah, if SendFox is free and stays free, then I'm kind of interested in checking out. To me, the newsletter cookie is something only available in the newsletter, and something that's available in the books would no longer be a cookie. Did book 2 change that idea? No. She gave ideas as to how you could have integrated the cookie with what you've already written.
Mm-hmm.
But when you think about it, if it's something that's already available outside of the newsletter, then what would be the point of someone getting it?
Yeah, true. Um, I mean, I liked her because when she was talking about cookies, I thought she was going to talk about like how to write the cookie itself, and like what type of cookie equals what kind of reader. But she actually breaks it down into like very simplistic business type wording, and I found that I liked that better than I thought I would in this.
I thought it was really helpful, and I like the examples that she used at the in the appendix.
Yeah.
This was a much faster read than I thought it was going to be, and I I don't know. I don't know why, because why I thought that it was going to be more complicated than it was. I don't think that the first book was all that complicated. I think she's really good at like breaking down information that could be complicated and making it easy to absorb.
Well, I think because she broke it down so well in the first book, that's why you expected it to be longer. Because I don't know, like when you think about a cookie, you think about it as something that's really simple. But then, from a business standpoint, when you even just you start thinking about it, there are so many steps to doing it, not just writing it. So because she breaks it down so well, I was like, there's some stuff I'm probably gonna learn. Like this is gonna be a lot longer than I think it is. But I mean, she broke it down so well, there wasn't a need for so many chapters. So
Let's see. I think it's free up to 5,000 subs, but then it's one-time lifetime payment for every 1,000 subs after that. Okay,
that's not bad.
yeah, that's not terrible. And that would be Sen Fox. Hey, RC. Um, yeah, I agree. My cookies are definitely gonna change for next year. Um, for Bliss, I took some stories I'd written for Medium and I took them down and I bundled them as a package. And those stories are related to the first Bliss story that I had launched. So it was basically seeing scenes from that event from like different viewpoints.
I will
So
say I did not think about, and I don't know why I've never thought about this because to me, a cookie's going in a newsletter. I never thought about actually giving it a cover like a regular book.
yeah, let me see. I could show you my covers. Uh, the one cover that I got for Midnight Murder for the Cozy was too expensive, and but I just yeah, it was too expensive. But it's beautiful. I love it, but it was a lot of money.
I love your
But,
covers. I do love those.
but yeah, I really like this one. And the other one I'm going to show you was much more, much cheaper. And I will probably follow her advice of trying to create it myself and
Hmm.
then asking someone to like do the fonts for me. I think that like that just makes sense. All right, let
I'm
me
no good
pop
at
this up.
drawing or Adobe or Photoshop or any of that, so that's out of the question for me. I'm just stuck doing that. But no, I mean, I guess I thought because it was just going to go in an email to because whether I give it to fans I already have or whether I give it to new fans, like I like that. That's
Thank
cool.
you. So that's the Bliss one.
I like the chains for the Ferris wheel. That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I just thought because it was going in an email, like it didn't need a cover. That never occurred to me. I don't know why, but that never occurred to me. Like,
Yeah,
good
because
thing I ain't wrote it yet. I do
it's
behind.
still set up as like an ebook. It's just that it's somewhere that's exclusive that they have to have a link to get there. And like I think with BookFunnel, you can set it up so that someone has to give you their email address, and you can set it up where they don't have to. They can get the reader magnet, and then they can give you their email afterwards. And I tried doing that because I at the time I didn't have money for like the fee for BookFunnel, which it's not a lot. I was just, super broke. So I was like, well, let's see if people will give me their email after they've read the book. And mostly I got a crap ton of downloads and not many emails. So I found that wasn't very effective,
That's
at
why
least
it
for me.
doesn't fact matter. After
Yeah,
they bought the other books.
it did not work out. So, but it was a good experience. So I found that definitely having the, hey, here's this thing, but if you give us your email address, then you can have the thing. It makes it like actually work.
Well,
It works better in your favor. Hey, Misty Kate, I'm glad to be here. Um,
I
yeah,
think with the world of read as you pay now, you probably could have got more today than you did then. Be like, if you want to
probably.
read the rest of the story, you have to give us your email.
Yeah, gotta do the email sign up. Um, so the book is 90 pages long, and that includes the appendix at the end. The appendix has a couple of case studies that I found interesting. Um, the book itself has, let's see, how many chapters does it have?
It has 10, and then the appendix.
Yeah, so um, one reader magnet idea that she gave that I didn't even consider before, but now I think that I'm going to do that, was having like some type of audiobook. I really like that idea. I'm not sure how to like create that
You
so
mean
that
like
it,
a dialogue conversation type thing, or like an actual audiobook?
well, what I was planning on doing was a scene.
Okay.
So, yeah, so not like a full on book, but a scene from um, from the Whipson Fantasies
Mm-hmm.
series. That's from the male perspective because those books are all written in the female perspective. And I thought that would be something interesting. It'd be different,
Yeah.
and maybe get people interested in signing up. So, but I need to figure out like all the logistics to that. I haven't created an audiobook before. So this is like brand new territory. You've done an audiobook, haven't you?
Yeah.
How did that work out? Or should we talk about this some other time? Because
It's
I'm
not
gonna
that
have
hard. It just depends on how you want to record it and how you like what kind of file you want it in. Um, I mean, there's like 5 different ways. So when you get ready, just let me know.
yeah, I'm gonna have all manners of questions.
Yeah, because yeah, I mean, it's too much to get into. I mean, it's whatever format you want to file in, how you want to edit it, all of that.
Yeah, I definitely have questions about the editing process because, um, yeah, I don't know how that works out. I'm curious how the audiobook would work out. Yeah, and I think that probably a lot of people who would do that option, it might be that they have like a bunch of audiobook credits or something. It could be. Or they might be doing what I'm doing and like kind of creating a little add on.
Yeah,
But
and you could
um,
always later put them like as add-ons for the next book or whatever, like at the end of your audiobook once you turn your books into audio. Because please tell me you're gonna, because they're good.
Thank you.
Sometimes I don't want to just read because I got a headache, but I do still want to hear a book. So, I mean, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I definitely do plan on doing that. Um, Everything's a plan for the future, but I really need to make the future like now.
Dude, what do you think I started planning next year in October? I plan on moving again. This is year number 4. I will be moving
Oh, oh my
again.
gosh, you're moving again?
Hopefully. Hopefully this.
Oh,
Hopefully. Hopefully January, February we'll have enough money for first and last month's rent to get a place and get out of here.
well, I hope it works out for you and that you can like set up
Considering my
shop for
week, I got no
years.
hope, but it's gonna happen.
I know how that feels. Could you do an unlisted YouTube video? Maybe. Maybe. So only newsletter subs would get the link. Yes. People who've already subscribed to it, and then the new folks who are going to be involved in my newsletter. I'm aiming for audiobooks in 2025. Right on. I don't have a firm idea of when I'm going to do audiobooks. I kind of wanted to do one and just see what happens with it, see how it works as an experiment.
Well, my goal is to have a book a year come out, even if it's the same book in audio form. So technically, 19 I had book 1 come out, 20 I had book 2 come out, and then 21 I had audio come out. So I'm working on audio for 2022 because at this point, with all the crap I've got planned, ain't no way I'm gonna edit till like July. So I ain't got my income tax yet. Book 3 is technically edited. It's waiting to go to Jace, but if I can't pay the man, I'm not gonna give it to him. Tell him I'll pay you later. So I'm literally just waiting on that until income tax from this past year comes in because I put it out there in July and it still ain't come in yet.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
I told you my year is not going great already.
2023, 2024 are just about making books and earning funds for audiobooks. I hear that.
Don't worry about the funds for audiobooks. Just do a royalty share.
And getting some series finished. A royalty share.
Yeah, royalty share. You don't pay them anything. You tell them straight up forward when you're looking for people to audition. I am only willing to do an audio share, royalty share. That way you both split the 40%. Yeah, it's less money, but you are saving money to get it out there to make the money.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to do. The first 5 books I'll do royalty shares, and then after that I should have enough of a backlist to do like she's saying in perma free book 1 and have a reader magnet that's drawing in book 2s and 3 and 4s, and then be able to actually pay up front and get the huge Jim Franchionis hopefully that I can afford.
So Amber has an audiobook. I do not have any yet. You really need to make a link tree.
I know. It's on
Just
the to-do list.
Take the 10 minutes to do it. Just bust it out. It won't take long. And then once it's done, all you have to do is just update it occasionally when you remember to.
Honey, I can't even remember the name Patreon half the time to tell people I have one of those.
But
yeah, I know. I need to. I've got to. It's on my to-do list for this month. That and updating all of my websites and getting my podcast guests set up for this year. So
let's see. Let me see if I can find your audiobook so I can share the link. There we go.
Thank you.
No problem. Unknown Love, A Gods of
Karina.
Oh, that's weird. I'll show you what. Yeah, it cuts it off, so I couldn't quite see what it said. See, A Gods of Car. There's a share button there.
That's so weird.
So I was like, wait, what? I don't think It's about cars.
That's so weird.
She's
What?
not interested in cars. Okay,
Well, I
so
am. I'm interested in getting mine working again. Yeah, my mom's like, "Oh, if it doesn't rain, just get your car going on Saturday." And I'm like, "Okay." So I help her load the truck this morning, and I forget to take the starter out of her truck. So guess what's not getting put in right now?
uh, I'm not doing ACX. I am doing Find Away Voices, paid narrator up front, then I get full royalties, and my audiobooks are wide. Ah, I see.
Yeah,
Yeah, ACX, you are exclusive
yeah,
to Amazon. I am more of a fan of graphic audio than narration audiobooks. You know, basically, it's like you're listening to a movie you're not looking at. You can hear everything, basically.
yeah,
Oh, I did not realize there were different types of audiobooks. I am so clueless.
yeah.
Hey,
No,
Elizabeth, glad you could make it.
hi there. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
That's cool. We haven't had nobody new in a while. I'm happy for that.
Well, she's been at my Thursday streams when I've had them. I have
Okay.
been kind of on hiatus for them.
Well, hopefully I'll see you Sunday mornings on my streams then. I'd like to get to know you.
Uh,
Um, yeah, there's different ways. I'll tell you if there's somebody you wanna once you get to doing your audiobooks, somebody that knows a crap ton of different ways to do everything audiobook that even I go to is Travis Savart on Twitch. He does all his own covers, all his own cookies, all his own audiobooks. He turned his closet into an audio studio. Um, and he does it all. He's one of the people I'm going to interview for season 2 of the podcast. I'm reading his book Portals right now, and he's just got that
what's
voice.
his last name?
Sivart, Sivart.
Subvert Studios. Oh, okay. 27 thoughts about streaming on Twitch.
Yep,
So this is the correct person then. Okay, cool.
yep,
I need to do Twitch.
yeah. Let me show you his book. One thing I love about the Kindle is it's showing you what you're reading at the time. This is his Portals book that I am reading right now for the podcast.
No, not just me. All right, there we go. Just you. Nice.
Yeah. So he did audio for all 5 of his books of this series, and it's really good so far. So make sure y'all listen to season 2's podcast.
Starting in
No.
2023. Sky's hoping to take everything wide. Ooh, I will not be doing wide yet.
I
That's
have I have both my books wide, except for the Audible, but that's why I went with ACX because I didn't have the money. So, and I'm too stubborn to wait.
it's actually a company, actually graphic audio, and the message is a movie. And I love comic books like Spider-Man, X-Men. I'm essentially into Marvel comics, but the one thing I wish when I read, I don't read with my eyes, I read with my hands because when you're reading Braille, you're reading through your fingers. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Thanks, Jordan, for adding a different user perspective to the conversation. I appreciate it. It's
Yeah.
it's good. It's making me think about things that I might not consider before. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
I had a friend of mine. Her sister was blind, and so she did Braille, and I don't think we think about it like that enough. But like she always said that when she was reading a book, she had to have a narrator that put on a different voice for each character because she spent so much time like reading with her fingers and having to rely on other senses, she would just like if a person had a same voice for the entire book, she would tend to forget that it was 2 different people and kind of not really zone out, but like it would be harder for her to engage in the book. So
Yeah, that makes sense. I've always wondered about that in terms of how narrators, how they are able to kind of like, do the like someone with a deep male voice doing a female voice.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I mean,
is that
it's
awkward?
weird because you've got different people like Jim Frangione who will change his voice, but only slightly, so that you know it's a different character, a female or something. And then you've got like I can see reading that and changing it as you're going. But then there are people that change their voice so quickly into such a different vocal voice that like I'm like, did you like cut and splice all this? Because there's no way I could have switched my throat to do that and then switch back.
Right.
Like, I don't know how to do it. That's a talent I need to figure out how to or hire out or something because I can't. No, I'm good.
Yeah. My boyfriend, he's a voice actor, and and he has like a very deep and gravelly kind of voice.
Mhm.
And he hasn't started doing audiobooks, but he's really interested. And I'm just like, how are you gonna do the female voices? How's it gonna work?
Mhm.
So I don't know. It'll be an experiment.
Just do like Jim and go from your deep gravelly voice to a little higher without going all girly. Just a little higher.
Just a little higher. Just
I
a
don't
little
know how to
deeper.
describe how he does because he does have that voice like your mathematician, and like he just goes a little higher.
Uh, um, let's see. What's another thing that so yeah, her mentioning the audiobooks, that was like that like blew my mind. I had never considered that. Um and then she was talking a lot about like do's and don'ts of doing a newsletter magnet. So that was helpful. I felt like mine kind of incidentally fell into best practices, so that was cool. Um, and she talked about why they're important, how they're helpful, which I understand that for people who were kind of new to her books. But if you've read book one and you're going to read book two, then you're already, you're singing to the choir at this point.
Yeah,
Like we've already bought into it.
yeah.
Um, she talked about organic newsletter subscribers versus non-organic. So essentially, organic meaning people who sign up for your newsletter, like in the back of your book, as opposed to people who sign up from like a newsletter swap or something like that. Um, I I know that people talk about it in those terms, but I really never thought of it that way. I was just glad anyone signed up. I'm like, where'd you come from? I don't care. Thank you for being here. Please stay for a while.
Well, and same here. Like I'd never thought of like two different books for each one. Like to me,
Mhm.
you're wanting them to read your books, period. So why wouldn't you give them the same book? But I mean, it kind of makes sense if they've already gotten organically from the back of your book and they know you. Well, first off, you that's a win. They've even signed up to your newsletter. So like, why wouldn't you want to give them more versus giving them something similar? So it's like, great, I got more work to do.
Great. But
Great, I got another wood magnet I got to write too.
uh, there's there's always more work to do.
You need computer paper.
Like, I was talking to a friend of mine, um, and I was saying that I needed to finish a manuscript over the weekend, and she's like, "What? That's crazy. You should only be working during the week." And I'm like, "That's not how this works. I do the work when I need to do the work."
Yeah.
Hey, Key, I haven't seen you forever.
Hey, Key.
Sky asked, "Do you feel like the new information mentioned in book 2 could have just been added to book 1 and then re-released as a new and expanded edition. I feel like if all the stuff that was in book 2 was added to book 1, that I would have felt overwhelmed reading it.
I think it could have
Personally.
been, but then it really wouldn't have been all about newsletters. I mean, yeah, cookies are a part of the newsletter, but they are their own kind of monster to tackle separately because you want to get your newsletter established and then you want your cookie to then put in said newsletter once you get newsletter established. So I feel like they could have came out closer together, but then again, she kind of planned that before her world fell apart.
Yeah.
So, barring that she had any control over that, it would have been great to have them come out like that. Because by the time you got your newsletter set up, then that would have been coming out about the cookies to work on that.
Yeah,
But
that would have been like in the perfect world. I
yeah,
think that's what she wanted, right?
yeah.
And
But
I
she,
was ready for it. I was like, pre-order, yes.
yeah, like we all had it pre-ordered. We were all talking about it. And even though I wanted it to come out in January for season 5 to make a season 1, season 5 thing, and I love you guys. I wish you wouldn't have chosen it, but if you did, whatever. I had already read it. It was already going to be read this month either way. I was just going to have to read 3 books versus 2. Uh, but that's fine.
Does your sister who is blind, does she have a YouTube channel? Because I'm visually impaired and I'm on YouTube and I'm trying to show. I feel like a second part should have popped up and hasn't.
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, once the rest of it pops up on StreamYard, I'll click on it. Sleep. I don't know. I've heard of it.
Hmm.
I've heard of it. Haven't experienced it much, but I've heard it exists. Um, I'm I'm excited to try some of these new ideas that she's given me. I'm excited for that. Um, I know that she has a newsletter class, but I probably won't join that.
Yeah.
And
I don't have the money for that as much as I would love to.
I think that I think that I might have joined her newsletter list with the last book, but I don't remember seeing many newsletters. So maybe I didn't. Or maybe it's being eaten up by spam. I'll have to look and see. Because I would like to hear about when she's like putting out new books like this. I don't know. Maybe she'll have some other aspect of like writer's life to tackle other than newsletters. Because I'm not sure what she
True.
could expand upon for a book 3. Working on rewriting Nexus of Change and Shoshu into a trilogy, adding other point of views and expanding on some stuff that got brushed off because it happened while the MCU was recovering. Right on. Are you doing
Yeah,
NaNoWriMo this month?
that's a lot of work.
Um,
Yeah. No, and you're talking about sister who was blind. It was a friend of my sister's that I know, and she doesn't do any of the social media stuff we do. We just like I have a love for books, so we talk books. That's about the only talking I do with her. Otherwise, she's my sister's friend.
great. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I was thinking about. Oh wait, I hadn't planned on it. Maybe I should. I'm doing it, but I've written like day 1 and I haven't written since. So, but as it would happen, I'm gonna. Sky and I are doing our 10K day on the 19th. Sky, am I right? If I'm wrong, please tell me now.
Yeah.
So I know I'll at least be writing 10,000 words on one day. And I have a book that's launching on the 10th that I need to finish. That's part of a collaboration. So,
Kira getting hurt on the 29th told me I wasn't doing Nano.
yeah,
I
I
was
need to
like,
make
yeah,
it.
I'm gonna do Nano. Like, I'm gonna finish editing this and I'm gonna start writing on book 4. or I'll start this cookie, like if I get an idea. And then Kira got hurt, and I was like, well, that takes day 1 through 2. And then day 1 happened. All that craziness happened. I was like, okay, I give up. This month is done. I'm already
Never
over it.
mind. We'll
Never
just erase that and try again next month.
mind. I swear every plan this year I've made's been like, you're funny. Here's the fire and here's the match.
Right?
Let
I
me just
need
watch
to.
you before you even start.
I need to make an admin day to work on my newsletter stuff again.
Yeah.
I do too. I need like a weekly accountability work day of some sort.
But that's my Monday because I don't want to come home from working at a computer to work at a computer.
Ugh.
Creatively anyway. Let me just go from doing all the office admin stuff I'm doing to all that office admin stuff at home.
All right, so I was right. Our next 10K is November 9th. I'm excited too. I love 10K days. Awesome 10K day. I'll be there. I'm doing nano and already behind, so I know I'll need. Same, same. I need to make a schedule. Period. I have been like flying by the seat of my pants for
Yeah.
the past couple of months, just erratic.
Part of this paycheck is already ordering a calendar planner for next year because I've got all these plans already going into place for January and I'm planning on moving in February.
Ugh.
So we need a book now for next year because I will not remember any of this, and then I will pack it away and be like, "What? We were going to do what now?"
What was happening? I had a whole agenda for my whole writing career. What was it again? Yeah, I hate it when I'll take notes in like a pad or something and be like, ah, yes, here's my grand scheme. And then I close it and I don't see it again for like 6 months. And I'm like, oh yeah,
That's
I
why I
had a
pulled
plan.
you, and I have this now.
Ah, the whiteboard. I
But
miss my
this did not
whiteboard.
go away. It's big. Like I used to have like the small one I had in my camper, and it
Yeah.
kept falling, and so it was like a notebook being closed. It would fall, and I'd be like, I don't see it.
Well,
Where did this
I
go?
don't see it, so it doesn't exist anymore.
This won't go down.
uh, oh my goodness, y'all. I had a moment. I'm going to call it senioritis where I was seeing that I had all these book sales and it was unexpected. And I was like, what's happening? And then I realized when I looked at my planner 2 days later that I was supposed to be doing a newsletter exchange and I just totally forgot about it. And I was like, oh no, oh no. This is why you write things down here, but it doesn't work if you don't look at it.
Yeah. It's like I have a 2-page list of life things to do by December and writing things to do by December, but they're in my purse, so I never remember them. So I'm just like, oh well.
I need like pop up reminders
Dude,
because
my
like
Google Calendar would give up on me if I did that because I'd have so many. It would give up. Google would crash.
Google would crash. Google would crash.
We crash websites in my job all the time. Why not let my personal life crash Google as well? It's fine.
Everyone would be so pleased, but not. Oh man. So last thoughts of the book. Do you think that it was worth the purchase? How much was it?
Listen, I don't even remember how much it was because I already had it pre-ordered, so it just came straight out.
Yeah, same. So $4.99. Five
Yeah,
bucks.
I mean, you wouldn't think for 90 pages it would be worth that. I think, okay, it's a double-edged sword. I think for people who've read book 1 and already been in the author game for a while, it was a little overpriced. I would have rather seen it at $2.99. But I think whether you have been in the game or not for a while, if you're just now like me getting to the newsletters and the cookie ideas, it had a lot of information I knew, but it had a lot of information I hadn't thought about in quite that context before. So, yes, it was worth the $4.99 in that. So, I mean, it just depends on where you are in the journey as to whether it was worth it. But overall, I think it was.
Oh, let me show you. So, with the newsletter magnet, one thing that you do is create a landing page. So, like, this is the landing page for the Bliss book. And, like, so there's a whole thing, blah, blah, blah. And to get the download, they click here and then they'll insert their email. So, it's not really inside of the newsletter, it's more of a link that they'll click on and go to.
That makes more sense. Okay, because I was like, that was my whole thing about the cover, because like I've gotten stuff off Book Mama before, Alina's and in your book and everything, but like I guess because I'm an author, I never thought about the fact that it had a cover right beside the link. Like that never occurred to me for whatever reason. It still surprises me. I don't know why that never occurred to me that there was a cover right there. So now I have to go figure out a cover for 2 books I haven't written yet.
So for story origin, there's a basic plan that's free. And then to get like all of the stuff, it's $10 a month or $100 a year. So you like save $20.
That's still not bad.
Yeah. But the free, you just kind of, you get the universal links. You can track word count goals. There's like a Facebook tracking thing that I guess you can use to see how many times people are like clicking on your ads. Yeah. And then you can like deliver files from, but like if you want to do all the newsletter stuff, then you have to pay for it.
Now let me ask you this, because she kind of touched on it, hinted on it, but she didn't like go into full detail on it. When she was talking about like having a good reader magnet versus something totally different than what they're used to. If you have, of course, for the organic people that come from the back of your book that already know you, you're going to want the same type of stuff. But if you already have like a second series coming out, say your Bliss winners, you know, after you've been doing the cozies for a while, would you ask your organic people if they would be interested in it and give them a choice to the link? Or would you
absolutely. Absolutely. That's something that, so if you look at my newsletter for my cozies, on the side, I have Midnight Murder there, and there's a link that they can click on that takes them to getting it without having to give their email address. So it's just like as a thank you in case if they had signed up before that. So anything that I would make and have it as a reader magnet, I would absolutely give it to the people who are already there, because
well, no, I'm talking about like because it was talking about like with cozies, it's good to give different things other than necessarily always having to do a story. So like, would you tell your cozy mystery newsletter people that have already been fans of yours or are already there, would you tell them about your Bliss Winter side to see if they wanted? Because but would you give them the option, since they've already been following you, to follow a totally different genre?
I did when I first started. When I first started with Bliss, like last year, and it's not something that I bring up. I just brought it up the one time, and I was like, "Here's a link to I don't know if it was a link to finding her or a link to like her Medium, a link to something, so that if people wanted to check her out, they could." But I didn't want to talk about it too much because the genres are so very, very different.
That's what I was asking, because like with my genre, like paranormal romance, it's romance, so people already expect that level of sexuality, so like it wouldn't be such a jump. But as you as a cozy mystery, like Would you?
It's a huge jump. So
It's just
I
something you mentioned that I specifically wanted to ask you because, how far do you go in trying to get readers if they're different genres?
yeah, I even had a couple people leave my Patreon because I started doing the Bliss thing, and they just were absolutely uninterested in any type of supporting anything like that, which is fine. Like, I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting anyone to do that, you know?
But yeah, I mean, we just got like such big authors like Anne Rice and stuff like that who wrote multiple pen names. Never mentioned that each pen name was the same person. But now in the social media age of newsletters and things like that, like, do you still keep them exclusively separate because you can still be found, or do you mention them so that people aren't surprised when they find out you write this and that?
I think that if the genres are a little closer, I would probably talk about it more.
Okay.
I would probably talk about it more. But it still wouldn't be an all the time thing.
Right.
It
Right.
would kind of be more like, hey, just a reminder, I write this stuff too. So, if you're interested, here's a link. You can check it out.
Okay.
Hey, Nikki. Hey, Aphrodite.
Hey, girls. Yeah.
We are talking about Newsletter Ninja 2, and it's all about reader magnets.
Yeah, because she said, build your readers, build your list with magnets that appeal to readers who like what you write over just liking your broad genre, and they're more likely to stay. So that's what made me think of that. Like, because it said a bad magnet's going to attract the wrong sort of subscribers. It's like, okay, well, it doesn't have to be a bad magnet, even if it's just the wrong magnet. Like,
Yeah. I think that's why like it's smart to make it directly related to what you're already writing.
yeah,
It like just makes sense. I definitely told my fans, but I didn't expect much crossover. It was important to me to not exclude possible readers, so I keep them separate, but knowing that it's me. Right on.
yeah. And then that's why I was curious.
I won't hide that I'm writing under other pen names, so I probably won't mention those pen names in each newsletter.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's no point in beating a head of a nail over and over. But just curious if you tell them, I don't want you to lose subscribers because they're like, well, you didn't tell me. You're not telling me everything. You're keeping secrets.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well, it's
there.
interesting because of social media and how much access people have to authors and entertainers that they like. I think I agree with you. I think there is kind of a different expectation these days, but I also think it's important to kind of keep true to what you think is best and what you're most comfortable with.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I might add a bar that says if you like X genre, then check out link.
Yeah.
All that to say, I don't know. So Aphrodite says that's why I have a different pen name so that there is a distinction, but clear that I am both people.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think that if I end up writing thrillers at some point or something that is in a cozy, I'll probably do like T.A. Woods.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if you want something grittier but still has a
Yeah.
mystery thing, here's T.A. Woods stuff. Go check her
Yeah.
out.
And
And
that's why I'm
then
curious because y'all have already done the pen names and all that, and that's something I'm just thinking about. So, but my second genre will be slightly closer to what I write now.
hmm,
So, it,
yeah, so I would absolutely offer it up, offer up the option to the new readers in the new genre and in the old genre. Like,
yeah.
hey, here's the thing that I'm doing over here. I haven't really offered the cozies to the bliss readers. Has I'm not sure if there will be any crossover.
It's like one crosses over the other way, but not that way. Not
so,
usually.
so I just haven't. Now, once I write, if I decide to write thrillers, those will absolutely have like spicy scenes. So
Hmm.
then I'll probably be like, hey, Bliss readers, if you're
Yeah.
interested in that, maybe you want to do some of this.
Yeah. Because like the other genre I'm thinking about right now is historical romance, and so like it'll still be in the romance
Ooh,
genre, so I'll do it. But
oh,
I've
I
got a
love the
whole new
historical
plot funny
romance.
book for that going. So probably 2024 because I want to try to get a couple written before I even like announce that I've got it coming out.
I didn't even know that you had
I didn't
these
either.
two pen names. My YA zone is by H.A. Lee, and my spiritual witchy stuff is under Calliope Moonsong. I did not know that Calliope Moonsong even existed. None of my stuff crosses over. Oh my gosh. So, okay, Aphrodite,
So grabbing the phone to take a picture of those pen names because didn't know they existed either.
do you have separate newsletters for all of them? Whew, that is a lot of balls to juggle. How do you have like four?
Sanity.
Because like I have two, and I'm real hesitant about doing a third one because I'm like, oh no,
I'm just
how
trying
could
to
I
get for the
do
first one
that?
figured out.
Like, I always feel like one of those being neglected. Like right now, it's been my cozy stuff, but it's like I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
Are
sitting
you
there asking
doing
how you
some
do that
sprints
too.
during the stream? No, this is a writing book club, so we're just talking about a book. Um, Amber's going to be streaming tomorrow. What time do you stream?
Um, it's 11 Central, so
So
or,
noon my time, noon Eastern, and I should be back on the horse next Thursday at 1 p.m. here for a stream, and then Sky and I will be streaming together on the 19th to do a 10K day.
hit me up
I
if y'all
stay.
want people that day, because depending on what time it is, I should be able to join.
Okay, that'd be fun.
I
I'd
need to
like
write
to.
sanity.
I'd like to do some extra streams this month. Just, but I don't know if I'm gonna plan them or just kind of pop up, and
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna do them on YouTube or if I'll be doing them on TikTok or Twitch or a combination. I don't know. So I guess follow my Twitter.
Hey, we have a Sharn Weber.
Whoa! Hi, Jacob. Haven't seen you forever.
I think with the way this month has already started, all mine, other than my Sunday and Wednesdays, will be pop ups. I don't think I can take any more channeling scheduling.
Ooh. You know, there are a lot of people who love a good like 5, 6 a.m. stream.
If only I could write at 5 or 6 while I'm driving. That would be great.
Oh my goodness. This
Yeah.
has been a lot of fun, and I've enjoyed doing this. This is the last writer's workshop for the year.
Last one, season 4, baby.
Wow. 4 seasons. How many books? Over 30 some books we've
I
read
think
through.
we're 33, 34. I'd have to go grab my flash drive.
Wow. That's wild. I am so glad that y'all decided to come on this journey with me because really,
Yeah.
between doing this and like joining some groups and learning from other people, like I feel like I'm actually I'm in a way better space mentally with like the knowledge I have of what it means to be a self-published author now than I did, 4 years ago.
Yeah,
Four
definitely.
years ago, I felt like I was running in the dark and just like running into everything. I had no idea what I was doing.
Well, see, and like the funny thing is, I knew there were all these craft books, but like, and I knew how to write, and I knew the stories I wanted, but other than the 3-act structure, I did not know there were so many other ways to do it. And the 3-act structure was so intimidating to me that I was just like, you know what? I'm writing the book. We're totally pantsing it. I don't care if it's got a 3-act structure. I'm going to try to follow it. But if I fail, I fail. And there's been so many different ways people have explained it over these past 4 years that made more sense to me than that 3-act structure book, because it was a little too like over my head the way he worded things. It didn't personalize it for me. And now I don't feel as intimidated. I don't have that imposter syndrome as bad anymore, because I actually understand the ins and outs of our craft better. Versus I was just trying to do it right and seeing what stuck on the wall before.
So Aphrodite has one main newsletter, but Minx and the others have their own section. Right on.
Yeah.
4 years ago, she was still unpublished and learning.
Yeah.
Phew.
Yeah, I think it's crazy.
And now you have four pen names. How many books?
Oh my god. It's crazy to think, especially like I don't know, I don't remember who all else was around with us, Tamara, but like when we first got on here, can you imagine how green we were compared to now?
Gosh, there was, and like Alina was the one who knew everything.
Everything.
She knew it all. And
Yeah.
remember, we'd like read a book and she would just be like, and this is my experience. I've been doing this, forever. I have a million books. So she would just break everything down for us. And we were like taking notes on, okay, Alina thinks this.
I know I still have like notes in the side margin. Do this after this. Book doesn't mention this.
We've come a long way, and
Yeah.
I'm proud that we've kept it going.
Yeah.
I'm proud that we've kept going and we've kept learning and we've kept trying.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this is one of those professions that, um, if you're not willing to learn, if you're not willing to try and experiment, and if you're not really to keep going, then you're you're not gonna have the success that you want.
Yeah. And the funny thing is as stubborn as I am, I feel like I'm glad you've taken the reins on this, because with everything that's gone on in the last 4 years, I realized when I was getting all my podcast stuff set up last weekend, I started my podcast, the Indie Author Spotlight, before it was a podcast, 2 months before we started this writer's workshop. And I've done 5 episodes a year where we've done, what, 10? I wouldn't have been a good person to start this writer's workshop. There's too much going on for me to remember my name, much less what I'm doing.
I mean, this was really me being like, okay, I'm buying all these books
Mm-hmm.
about doing the writing thing, and I'm not reading any of them.
Like, what's the point?
Like, I'm just giving people money. I'm not helping myself.
Yeah.
How do I make myself read these books? Okay, I have a book club with friends, and then we all read it together, and then I will feel too ashamed to do the thing if I don't read the books.
And what's funny is when we started, there were no other author tubers doing it, and now there's 2 or 3. So there's 2 or 3 a month, different books coming out for people to read and listen to, and all that. So
It's cool. It's cool. And it gives, and like, we have a different perspective because we're looking at this as, straight up indies and trying to do that thing. And then there's people who are talking about books that works more for them because they're trying to traditionally publish. And, and all matters in between.
yep. Oh, thank you, Aphrodite. I'm not saying I would have been bad at it, but my life was not ready for it. It was just not happening.
Yeah, it's hard to juggle when everything's kind of happening. The spaghetti method isn't the most efficient for writing. It's
It worked.
easier to tell stories when you know what a story is. Word.
It worked, but I wouldn't have published any of those stories. That was horrible.
I know. I had no plans of doing another pen name. I was like, Tamara Woods, Cozy Mysteries. And Was I even doing cozies at the time?
I think
I
you
don't.
just started thinking about it. You were writing your
Yeah.
first one.
So this, wow, what a difference 4 year makes. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Because you were
So
working on your beach one and thinking about writing a cozy, because like that had something had sparked a brain.
as I realized, oh, a lot of these things that I've liked all my life, I they were cozies, and I just didn't know that that's what they were.
Yeah, I forget
Because
what it was. There was something right before when we were still talking about and trying to set up what book we would do first. You had like a aha moment, and like you were like, "I'm gonna do both."
as usual, randomly in the middle of a stream, I'm going to make a life changing decision right now.
Hey, that
Let's
was me
do
Wednesday
it.
night. So if y'all want to see a life changing moment for me, Wednesday night on Twitch happened. That was a thing. It was like, why not? Let's do it. Let me write that down.
Let's do. Yeah, I want to do. I want to try Twitch. I want to. I think because it's fun and I like it myself. I
Hmm.
just, I just haven't broken it down
Yeah.
and done it. What I'd like to do, even though this is going to be our last writers workshop, I would like for each of us to make like a little snippet video talking about our favorite book of the year, and then I'll compile it and post it like
Like we
the
did the one year.
last Saturday of December or something. Instead of having the workshop, we'll have our greatest picks of 2022. I
We
think
did
that'll be
that one
fun.
year, and then life and Corona and all the crap.
Yeah. So maybe we should do it for a couple years. I don't know. We should talk about it.
Yeah, we could do. We'll see what seasons we've got up, and then maybe we can do like season 2 or 2 and 3 in November, and then season 4 in December or something like that.
Figure it
Or
out.
just one video in December for 2, 3, and 4. Oh, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. So, do you want to introduce yourself again in case folks who are just coming don't know you?
Yeah. Um. Thanks everybody that did come, new and old. Um. I'm Amber Graft. I write paranormal romance. I have this humongous plan going for 2023. Come watch me hopefully succeed or crash and burn with great, flair, as I do as I go crazy. Um, the life changing thing on Wednesday was that I decided there is going to be more structure to my podcast. Um, and I will do all year podcasts instead of just 5 a year, I promise. Uh, I've got plans in place for the future in case things happen. Um, you can find me every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern or Central over on the YouTubes and 7 p.m. Central over on Twitch. All of my social medias are the Unknown series or author Amber's Craft, so go check it out. I will create a link tree this weekend. I swear. I will take laptop to the boyfriends, and have that so you can find me everywhere. So you can find those. But first, January's podcast is technically already done. It will be Marla Holt. So if you haven't go checked out The Other Lane, check that book out. That's what we're talking about.
Fantastic. And my name's Tamara Woods, and I write cozy mysteries and some spicy stuff on the side. If you're interested in seeing what my newsletter magnet looks like, there's a link down in the description for my newsletter. There's also a link, or at least there should be a link for my spicy stuff with Bliss Winters, and you can click on that and take a look at her stuff. Again, it's spicy, it's super spicy. If you do not like the spice, then please do not get it. But if you like spice, she's there for you. Um, Again, this is going to be the last writers workshop of the year. I've really had a great time this year going through all of our books and having these chats. I find it to be really motivating and helpful, and I appreciate y'all for being on the screen with me so I don't have to do it alone because it's very awkward. And
I'm
I
sorry I
appreciate.
couldn't be on more. I had a schedule that was not conducive to this. Now I do. Now I'm off on the weekends again.
Perfect. Perfect for going into the next year. And thanks for everyone who's been here whether you're new or you come in each month or you stop by every now and then. We really appreciate you because without you, we are screaming into the void. So have a great weekend. Happy Nano if you're doing it. Look out for our streams, and we'll see you again with Writers Workshop in January. Oh, by the way, there's the Goodreads group. That the link down
Mhm.
there is in the description. So if you want to help us to decide what we're reading in January, that's where the poll will be.
Yep.
All right. Bye, everybody.